Senator Lott, you and Senator Mitchell, who we spoke with yesterday on the program, both wrote op-eds diagnosing the dysfunction in Washington right now and offering some solutions. You said one solution was for Congress to start holding routine committee hearings, marking up bills, voting on legislation. I think most Americans would agree with that, but be surprised to hear that, I mean, that's their job. I think most of us, would assume, isn't that their job description?
Well, they've slowly slipped away from that over the last 4 years, I guess, particularly the last 2 years. The Senate hasn't passed a budget resolution in several years now. They don't do their appropriations bills before the end of the fiscal year, not even the end of the calendar year. They haven't had a traditional conference between the House and Senate in at least a year.
I mean, I don't want to sound hysterical, but that just sounds crazy to me.
It does to me too, and frankly, it's one of the simple things that they can do that would be a solution to the gridlock and the partisanship we have now. I think if they would go back to the old way of getting things done carefully, systematically, it would really help them.
And I mean, here we are, to your point, here we are at the edge of a fiscal cliff, and Congress is still taking 3-day weekends and planning on a holiday break.
I did an interview last night. The moderator of a panel I was on was Mark Shields, and he asked me if you could just recommend one thing other than going back to what we call regular order, what would it be? And my recommendation to the Congress and to the President would be quit campaigning, quit having press conferences, sit down at a round table and negotiate a deal. There's a little bit of a revisionist history where we talk about how it was so good in the old days. It was tough then too, but we got it done. And one of the ways we did it, we quit running around talking at each other and sat down and talked with each other.
Your op-ed, the headline was Washington lost its love of the deal, and it really does seem like that deal making, that compromise, even just talking to each other like civilized human beings, doesn't seem like that's happening at all.
It's not happening. And Anderson, I was always a conservative Republican, and I had very strong beliefs about certain things we should or should not do. But I also thought that I was sent to Washington by the people of my state, not to make a statement, but to make a difference and try to get a result. When you're dealing with 100 United States senators, let alone 435 House members, you're not going to get it all the way you want it. The president's going to have to give some. The president's going to have to show leadership. The leaders in the Congress have to step up. Now, it's kind of dangerous because the extremes in both parties, they're not looking for compromise. They're looking for a win on their point of view. But you have to be prepared to give some. You have to be prepared to push to get something done. And if you do that, if you make up your mind, I'm going to get this done, you will.
And when you were leading the Senate, you spoke to Senator Daschle all the time.
I had a red phone on my desk. Sometimes the problems in Washington or in the Congress and in the administration, there's staff people. So I had a red phone where when I picked up that phone, it rang only one place, on Tom Daschle's desk. And when he picked it up, I knew I was talking to Tom Daschle, not his staff, not my staff. Sometimes he and I act the lead when our conferences were not ready to move. I remember one time I called him. I stepped out from a conference meeting and I said, Tom, we need to do this. I'm having problems. He said, I am too. I said, let's do it. He said, let's go. I'll see you on the floor. We went up on the floor of the Senate. We called the bill up and we passed it by sundown. You got to do that every now and then, even though you might catch a little flack from some of the people within your conference. It's called leadership, Anderson.
So what for you do you think was the moment that this changed, that compromise became a dirty word? I mean, Democrats will point to the Tea Party and saying, well, look, on the right, that's it. Republicans will say on the left, there's extremes as well.
Yeah, there are extremes on both sides, and I used to get hammered for I was accused of being a compromiser or a deal maker. I didn't know those were dirty words, but it didn't just happen overnight. It wasn't an event. It's been an evolutionary thing, Anderson. A lot of things contributed to it. Tom Daschle, my good friend that was the Democratic leader when I was the majority leader for the Republicans, says the biggest problem is the airplane. Because members, they don't bring their families up here anymore. They come in here on a Monday night or a Tuesday morning, and all they want to know is what time can I leave Thursday. You can't legislate in 48 hours a week. You can't legislate when you're in session 2 weeks and off a week, or on 3 weeks and off a week. And the schedules don't match. So number one, it's part of the times we're in. When I came up here, we didn't have cell phones, fax machines, computers. Right. And so we spent time together. We knew each other. We liked each other across party lines. That doesn't happen now. Members run away now. Part of it is, frankly, Anderson, 24/7 news. You make a mistake in this city now and you're toast. for days.
Right.
And so it's all of the above. But it can change, Anderson. Once people make up their mind, look, we are going to start doing things a little differently. We are going to go back and do some of the things that worked. Part of it is generational, perhaps. And maybe with the next generation, it'll be different.
Well, I would just say on a personal note, I wouldn't sell yourself short. It's good to have people there who know how to compromise, who know how to get things done, and who have experience there. So it's good to talk to you. Yeah, it's good to talk to you, Senator. Thank you.
Appreciate it.